Hello everyone. Thank you for joining Set Schedule at Home Partners of America to talk about how the lease purchase program, which allows agents to convert rental opportunities into full commissionable buyer transactions, works. In just a moment, we'll cut into the presentation. To give a quick introduction, Taisha is a guest speaker today. She is the Regional Account Manager at Home Partners of America. She has a strong real estate professional background with a Master's of Business Administration focused on international business from Keller Graduate School of Management of DeVry University. She's had the pleasure to market and educate real estate brokerages on Home Partners' lease purchase program, which allows qualified residents to look at homes for sale as possible rentals. Agents represent Home Partners as the buyer agent, allowing the agent to collect full commission at the close of escrow. There was a slight technical glitch that started the recording a few minutes late into the presentation, which is why I wanted to give this introduction. Let's jump into the presentation with Taisha and Home Partners of America.
We are buying the house on their behalf. So you're representing Home Partners in that real estate transaction.
Got it. So I am, as a real estate agent representing Home Partners, purchase the property. And obviously at the time of close of escrow, I'm receiving commission like I would any traditional transaction.
You got it. Another reason why everyone should get excited. Awesome. So not only are we a cash buyer, but we close in 3 weeks. And we typically don't ask for repairs, so less stress for the seller. We will waive appraisals, we'll offer fair market value, and in this insane market, we're even willing to offer over asking. I just got off the phone with one of our top producers, and we just offered $45,000 over asking. So we're a very strong, competitive cash buyer for your prospect. So a little background on who we are. We have invested over $6 billion nationwide in only 9 years. So we've been moving and grooving for quite some time, and we've been able to help a lot of families get into homes that maybe didn't have the opportunity to do so themselves. We do operate in 60 plus markets, and we have purchased over 21,000 homes nationwide. Now, let me put things in perspective. We purchased our 19,000th home in mid-March, okay? And now we are fast trending to 22,000, and we're just in July. So it is definitely a great opportunity to help your families get into good homes and build your business while you're doing so.
So this is cool because you guys are in a tremendous number of the markets, especially in a lot of the metro areas. What are you seeing as some of the most predominant areas where you're transacting at a really high rate?
I would say the top 3 right now would be Atlanta. We're operating a lot in Florida as well, in Miami, Tampa, and I would say in Texas also. Awesome. So Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, etc.
Awesome.
But we operate in a lot of different places, as you can see from our map. And then on our website, we have a full list for you to see all of the metros that we're operating in. So we provide very transparent information for all of our agents.
That was actually a question that just came from Mike. He was asking where he'd be able to find a list of all the areas that are working. So
perfect. I'm gonna later on, I'm gonna take you to the website so I can show you exactly where that is, Mike.
Great.
All right. Okay, so I'm sure you're wondering, well, how does it work? This got me excited, Taisha, but how does this work? So you will go to homepartners.com, homepartners.com, and you're going to sign up. You have to be signed up with us in order to offer this option to your prospect. The great thing is, it's absolutely free to you. It is absolutely free to you. And I've been in real estate long enough to know firsthand that typically when you're adding value to your business, it's not free. So take advantage. Sign up with us at homepartners.com today if you have not already. All right. So on our website, once you're logged in, your name will appear in the top right-hand corner. That's how you'll know you're logged in. We have documents and tools to help you first pre-screen your prospects, really make sure it's a good opportunity for your clientele. Also, we give you tools to help you convey the program. So you don't have to remember everything I'm saying today. You can go back to the website and you can actually look at our prospect guide. You can look at our different training tools so that you are confident with the program. And we have what we call our income verification document. This will prepare them for the application. So again, go to homepartners.com, log in, and navigate. Get comfortable with the website. It's a lot of great information there.
Awesome.
So once you have pre-screened them, you see it's a good fit, then you will invite them to the program. Within your dashboard, in that agent portal that you've registered with us, there's a big box that says invite. You can't miss it. And that's where you'll enter their name, their email. You'll customize a message and disclose how you found that lead or how you generated that lead. And the customized message can be as simple as, hey, this is the program we talked about. Please register. It sounds easy enough because it is. It is very easy. It takes a few seconds. But this is very important. It's a very important step because this is how you are connected to your prospect. This is how Home Partners understands that we are purchasing this home on behalf of your customer, okay? Which also guarantees your full sales commission at closing. So I'm pretty sure that's an important step, right, Daniel?
Absolutely.
All right. So once they're registered, they are going to be prompted to apply. You've prepared them by using that income verification document, making sure they're going to provide the best proof of income. And once they submit that application, we'll respond within 1 to 3 business days. 1 to 3 business days. I spoke to an agent the other day and he was like, they got an answer the same day. So I was like, yes, even better. So as long as you prepare them, we can respond very quickly. And upon approval, we'll provide them with a rental amount they're approved for. Now, I know we get excited about us being a buyer. You know, we're talking to people that want to buy, etc. But initially, this is a rental opportunity. So the rental amount will appear on your dashboard and it will appear in their portal as well. Okay. Now, once you have that amount, you can help them find a home. And conveniently enough, we have a tab that says find a home. So it's super easy to find. And that's where you will see listings. You'll see active listings on our website. Now, please note, these are not our listings. We do not own these homes. We simply wanted to help you with your search process. So what did we do? We created an IDX feed that pulls from MLS directly under our property criteria. The great thing is we have a property criteria guide so that you can review it and become very confident in the type of homes we're looking for and what we're not looking for. But if it is filtering onto our Find a Home section, we've kind of pre-vetted it as well. So most likely those are homes that we're willing to purchase. Okay, so use that as a tool. You're not obligated to. You don't have to. It's helpful. All right. So now once they find the homes that they're looking for, you will take them to go see the home. Now, hopefully it's only like 3 homes and not 20 that they want you to see. But
we know how that works.
We know what that looks like, okay? But once you just take them to see the home and they say, that's the one I love, then this next step for you is to submit the property. How do we do that? Next to all of your approved applicants, and yes, I say all because you're going to be helping a lot of people, but next to their name and their information and the rental amount they're approved for is a tab that says submit property. So you'll select submit property and it will walk you through a 3-step process. The very first step, super easy. We're asking for the MLS number or the actual address, depending on how you are submitting that property. The second step are yes or no questions regarding the property. We're going to ask you for your expertise. What do you recommend the lowest offer versus the highest offer should be? Are there any other details that we as the buyer should know about this property? Is it in a multiple offer scenario? Does it have a deadline? Usually the answer is yes nowadays, right? So So we'll ask you those questions and then prompt you to go to step 3. And step 3, we will need the documents to kind of support step 2. So if you're going to write anything down, write this down so you're prepared to submit. We will need the MLS listing sheet, the CMA, the seller's disclosure, and photos. Again, MLS listing sheet, CMA, seller's disclosure, and photos. Once we have that, then you can submit the property to Home Partners and we'll respond within a business day. Now, we are moving a lot quicker, and so it's possible that it may be sooner, but I would like to set the right expectations so that we can exceed it rather than fail it. So think of 1 business day, okay? Pro tip, if you see that the response is needed by 5 p.m. same day, that's probably not the best property to submit, okay? Because we need that for business day. All right. So once we respond, we say, okay, great. We would love to move forward. This is when you put your buyer's agent hat on. You know, this is where the real estate transaction looks a little different just because you've been working with that applicant, right? And typically you hold their hand through each step of the process. But at this time, you are going to represent Home Partners as our buyer's agent. And again, the applicant will become our future resident. All right. So once you put your buyer's agent hat on, that real estate transaction does pretty much look the same, except you're working with a well-versed cash buyer. We've done this before. We've purchased almost 22,000 homes. So I would say we know a little bit about buying. You don't have to tell us everything about every step for the real estate transaction. We get it. So less stress, less work for you. Speaking of less work, we will generate the state contract and submit it to you with proof of funds. Yes, less work. We schedule inspections, so you don't have to worry about that. And we have a remote closing. So really the biggest thing is to help find that prospect, help them find a home, and we kind of take over the rest.
Sounds good.
Awesome, awesome. And then once we close, of course, you receive your full sales commission, and the resident will be working closely with our property management company. They are called Pathlight Property Management, and they're going to speak with them, get them ready for move-in. Now, we do have a make-ready period, and it does take up to 2 weeks, or it can take up to 2 weeks. So that is the make-ready period. But again, they'll be communicating with Pathlight to make sure that that is a smooth transition. Now that I know that was a lot of information already.
It was a lot of information. So can you, and I know it's on the screen and how it works, you go from the pre-screening, invite and qualify, find a property and then submit, right? Mm-hmm. If we had to simplify the process, how would you explain it just so that we can recap what we talked about? So basically just go over the steps because you want to sign up. You want to make sure that your prospects are qualified for the program. You have them apply. Once they apply, you help them find a home, and then you represent us in the real estate transaction to purchase the home on their behalf. Awesome. So it's not as complicated as we made it out initially. No. And it's funny because as soon as, I have an agent actually walk through it, they're like, oh man, I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. That was easy. Awesome. But you know how it is when something's new, it's like, oh, what's going on, Yep. So once you walk through it, you guys, you're going to really want to be able to offer this to as many people as possible. Great. Awesome. All right. So it's super exciting. It's another way to help those renters get into homes or those get into the homes that aren't quite ready to buy yet. And they're going to sign a 1-year lease as they typically would. However, the difference with Home Partners is we're providing them with options. So although they are selecting a home from the for sale market, we're purchasing it in cash on their behalf, they can treat it as a traditional rental if they'd like, meaning that they are not obligated to purchase the home back from us. Huge, right? Yeah. They just selected this home. We only purchased it for them, but they don't have to buy it back from us, okay? They can treat it as a rental, and
they have the opportunity to lease for up to 5 years. For any of my Texas people, it is up to 3 years, but that's still a lot of time to decide if you want to buy the home that you're already living in, right?
Yep.
All right, so the lease that they're signing will auto-renew annually. So auto-renew each year up to 3 to 5 years, okay?
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about signing a new lease each year. We've been upfront. We've been very transparent. We tell them the rental amounts upfront for each year, and I will show you what that looks like on our website when we get there. Okay. Now, because they are given that opportunity to treat it as a traditional rental, at the end of that year lease, before it either renews or expires, they can put in their 60-day notice and leave without penalty. Okay. So super exciting there. But on the other end, if they absolutely fall in love with the home and they get in the position to buy, they can buy it back from us. They can exercise their right to purchase at any time during residency. We're solely asking for a 30 to 60-day notice. So if they know they're going to be ready in 30 to 60 days on move-in day, they can provide that notice and purchase the home back. They don't have to lease for a year or 2 or 3 before they can exercise their right to purchase. If they're ready in 60 days, then they can purchase within that time frame.
That's awesome. So I think this is really important because it's, for a lot of members, they want to know what they're getting their clients into, right?
Right.
And it's cool to see that it's pretty simple. You've got the 1 year lease, and then after the 1 year lease, you've got those 3 options, right? You can continue to rent, which obviously would be the continuous renewal that you have for that, 3 to 5 year, depending on the state. And then within the year or within the 3 years that they're renewing, they can decide to purchase the property or move out at any point in time within that 3 to 5 year period.
You got it. Now, if they do treat it as a traditional rental, they do have to complete that 1 year time span.
Understood.
So if they're going to rent, they'll complete that 1 year lease, and then yes, they can leave without penalty.
Awesome. So I know the next slide, right? But I think the next question is because of this, right? It's well, what am I looking for as a home shopper, right? What kind of person am I going to be able to take and have them apply to Home Partners of America?
Great question. So that's the perfect segue to this next slide. This is great for your future buyers or your millennials that may be thinking about buying, but they don't want to commit yet. Maybe commitment phobic. But this is a way to help them get in the home if they're not ready because they didn't know that the down payment was so much, or they didn't even know about closing costs. They're like, what is that? And they realize that they're just not quite ready. You can change the narrative instead of saying, okay, well, when you're ready, call me. Then you can change it to, I understand, but what if I were to tell you that I am working with an investor, they're willing to purchase this home on your behalf now, and when they're ready, or when you're ready, you can purchase the home back. Okay. We are also working with those that are relocating and those that aren't quite mortgage ready. So this is another 2 segments of groups that are great for this program. They're relocating. They don't know where the best communities are, the best school districts. This is a way for them to try it out. This is the best try before you buy option. Those that aren't quite ready to buy, maybe a lender said no because of a bankruptcy or foreclosure or short sale or medical bills that affected their DTI. One I can relate to, student loan debt. That was really fun when I started out.
Yeah,
I wish this had been around when I first started, because personally this would have helped me. They looked at I had the right FICO, I had the income, I had the job history, I just got my master's. And then they looked at my DTI and said, thanks for trying, try again later. So now you have this option to help someone that may be in a similar scenario.
Awesome.
This is also great for renters. Now, I say this because a lot of agents, kind of shy away from renters because there's that stigma, it's a lot of work for minimal pay. Not with Home Partners. you can convert them to a Home Partners resident and receive your full sales commission. And it's less work because we know how to buy. So I would recommend working and marketing to renters. Our top agents that are closing 10 plus transactions with us each year on top of their normal real estate business is because they're marketing to renters.
That's cool. So I think that's awesome, especially in this market, with there being such a high rental market right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. People don't know about their income and they don't want to commit necessarily to purchasing a property, right? And so I think the synergy between the market and, especially with us, it's at schedule, though it's starting to come down and we're seeing a lot more people willing to commit and going to buyers, and a lot of sellers are coming in, the inventory is going up, but being able to take these renter leads and keeping them as a renter-based opportunity, but at the same time being able to close and collect commission, I think is an awesome opportunity for a lot of partners that we have here at Set Schedule.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a newer category that we started working with this year, or I should say more so this year because of how crazy the market is right now, are discouraged buyers, which means they're approved traditionally. They went to a lender said, yeah, we can help you. Maybe they're approved with an FHA, or maybe they're approved with a VA loan, or even conventional, but they don't have the cash over asking, right? They don't have that to be competitive in this market. So their offers are being tucked to the bottom, right, of that deck. And Home Partners is stepping in as that cash buyer that closes in 3 weeks. We don't, we will offer fair market or over asking. We're waiving appraisals, and we're now bringing their offer to the top of the deck. So we've been able to help a lot more families this year.
That's so I want to take a minute. I've got a couple questions here. Well, one comment and one question. So Ron said, I'd like the handout to you or your PowerPoint. Ron, this is going to be recorded and it's going to be posted on our website, as well as you will receive a recording of this. So always, you could also go to homepartners.com and go to the website. But Alexander asked, what if property value goes down? Do they have to buy for what you pay or at market value?
Great question. So we ask them up front, right? We tell them up front what that purchase price would be. So it's already agreed upon, regardless of what the market does. If the market, let's just say the home doesn't
goes up in value. Let's talk about the reverse. So if the property actually goes up in value, what you're telling me is you've basically made money living there.
You are walking in with equity. Yes. So absolutely, that's the great thing about it. We're not going to say, oh, it's worth more, you got to pay us more. We've already agreed upon it up front.
Great. And another question came from Bobby is, how do we base the rental value of the property? So
we have an algorithm. So we have different things that go into this algorithm. It's going to base it off of the listing. It's going to base it off of the size of the home, the bedrooms, the community, etc. Are there any HOA fees? What is the taxes in that area, etc. So that we consider all of that, and then we generate that rental amount.
So it's very similar to your standard landlord who owns a property and is deciding, well, based on X, Y, and Z criteria, I'm going to be asking for X amount of rent.
You got it.
Awesome.
You got it. Great questions, everyone. I love the engagement. All right. So what do we offer? I've probably talked about all of these things already, but I just want to make sure you're listening, you hear me. We're providing more choice, right? We're providing that flexibility and transparency. That's what we were talking about. We provide the purchase price up front. We provide the rental amounts up front. You'll see that on our website. We're providing that value and control. And on top of all of that, we are providing our residents with a free financial wellness counseling. So if they choose to use that resource, they can be in a better position to purchase the home from us or purchase outside of the program.
So another question came in, and I know we're going to get to this when we go to the property criteria, so we could probably just save it.
Okay.
Ron is interested in knowing if you guys purchase single family homes and condos, or just one or the other.
So Ron, I am going to go over this, but I can answer that really quickly. We are not interested in purchasing condominiums, but I will go over what we are willing to purchase when we go over the property criteria.
Awesome.
All right, so let's talk about the resident criteria. This is also something you want to write down if you haven't been writing a whole bunch of notes already. But we are going to be looking at the rent-to-income ratios and the debt-to-income ratios. This is how we're analyzing how we are approving or what we're approving the applicants for. So it's really important that you guys take this down. So the RTI, that rent-to-income ratio, is 35%. 35%. The debt-to-income ratio is 45%. 45%. And the FICO requirements do vary, but mainly it is 580 across the board. Mainly, some areas it is 600. So you can reach out to me and I can tell you, which market is different, but typically it's around 580. So that's low enough to help a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So really excited about that. But if they have a FICO score of 620 and above, then the RTI and the DTI ratios will increase. So the RTI will increase to 40%, and the DTI will increase to 50%. 50%. So RTI is between 35 and 40. The DTI is between 45 and 50. And again, that FICO score for the most part is 580. That requirement is 580. But we solely are looking at the TransUnion report. TransUnion. Okay. Awesome. So we talked about the prospect guide and our pre-qualification questionnaire and the income verification document. Those documents and those tools will have a lot more information in depth to help you prepare and convey the program. So on a high level is what we're going to discuss here regarding the resident criteria. The annual household income is at least $40,000, at least $40,000. But I want to be very transparent as our program is. Remember, we purchased almost 22,000 homes. On average, the household incomes or that annual household income is $100,000. So that kind of gives you an idea of what, this is really working for. So I would say if you were to market, I would market to households that are at least making $65,000 and above, just as a pro tip. But does that exclude those that are making $40,000 to $65,000? No, it does not. It just means it may take a little bit more time, a little bit more effort to find that qualified home for that prospect. Okay. We have that income verification, but high level, if it's a W-2 wage earner, we're going to ask for the 2 most recent pay stubs. If it is a 1099 employee or they're self-employed, we'll ask for the 2 most recent bank statements. If they have the business for longer than a year, we will ask for the most recent tax return. But on the income verification document, it literally step by step tells you exactly what they would need for their scenario. So please make sure you review that with them prior to inviting them. Okay, bankruptcies. We are less restrictive than what you would typically see in this industry. So in regards to Chapter 7s, as long as it has been discharged, the day after discharge date, they can enroll. If anyone's ever worked with a bankruptcy or had someone that had a bankruptcy, you know that it takes 2 to 3 years typically after discharge date for a lender to approve them or qualify them, right? So help them get into the home now while they're waiting. We have that questionnaire I talked about. There are 2 criminal history questions on that questionnaire. They're not fun to ask, but they need to be asked. So high level, if they have had a felony and it's 6 years and older, then we can help them as well. If they did something silly when they were in their teens and they're 40 and it's still hanging around over their head, with HomePartners, we can help them get into a home. I do want to make sure that you are providing this information because we know working with renters, sometimes they'll call you and say, hey, I need to move in a week. Can you help me? And you're like, you put your nice smile on and say, sure. Well, with HomePartners, unfortunately, that would not work for the lease purchase program. They do need to accommodate at least 45 days from application to actual move-in date. 45 days from application to actual move-in date. Okay.
Got it.
And we are pet friendly. For anyone that has worked with us before, we did have breed restrictions. We had brought it down to 4. Well, now we have recently removed the breed restrictions. So pet lovers are going to love us.
Yay.
Yes. And the Dobermans and the Rottweilers or those pit bulls, they can live in a Home Partners home too.
Awesome.
We do allow up to 3 pets, gross weight 180 pounds. So a really large dog, which I'm okay with. I don't know if I'm okay with a 180-pound cat. You guys
Yeah,
can
that would think a 185-pound cat would be very difficult to even enjoy hanging out with.
That's like a cougar or a panther or something, a mountain lion. I don't really need that. All right. And to answer Ron's question, we're going to go over the property criteria now. Was there anything else that was asked prior to, or would you like me just to go?
I think we're good to continue, yeah.
All right. So we have a full analytics department that is looking at all of the metros that we're operating in, and they're going over certain criteria to make sure it's a great fit for the program. So the first criteria is, how do we continue to be successful as a business, right? But the other set of criteria is, how can we set our residents on a successful path to home ownership? So we're going through this criteria to make sure that it's beneficial for all parties involved. So what we're doing is, once we say, okay, all those check, we're going to deem this area or this community as an approved community. So that means we're not purchasing everywhere. I work with thousands and thousands of agents that wish that we did, but it does have to make sense for everyone, okay? So use that find a home section we talked about. Those homes that are filtering in from MLS are in approved communities. If it hasn't filtered onto our site, we have tools to help you. We have 2 additional tools to help you. If you go under the Agents tab, so you scroll over the Agents tab, there'll be a drop-down menu. The Rent Estimator and the Address Checker. The Rent Estimator and the Address Checker. You will be able to use those tools to determine if the home is in an approved community or not. It'll tell you within seconds. Okay. Now the rental amount will go a step further and give you the rental amount that we would apply to that specific property. Okay.
So
Very
there's
helpful.
other tools needed to determine whether a specific property is, meets the criteria all on the website.
Yes. So we have that guide that tells you exactly what we're looking for, what we're not looking for in a home. And then we have the tools that will even say it's in an approved community.
Awesome.
Or this is not. Do not move forward. All right. So to answer Ron's question, we are looking for single family homes, fee simple townhomes, or fee simple duplexes. Fee simple just means that we have control of the land under the home. So just keep that in mind. We're not interested in condominiums, as stated earlier. Okay. We are interested in FSBO, so just keep in mind they will not be on our website because they were never on MLS, but use that rent estimator, use the address checker, we can still purchase that home.
Awesome.
Privately marketed homes will not appear on our website either, even though it's on MLS, so keep that in mind.
It sounds like just general pocket listings are just not going to be on the MLS, right?
You got it. You got it. You got it. So the home must be listed between 100,000, and it can vary from your market from 350,000 to 450 to 550. It really depends on the specific area. So if you guys want to know what that specific area is, just go to our Find a Home section, go to the Metro. There's a link that says Metro information, and it will tell you the price cap in that specific area.
Great.
Awesome, awesome. Now the home must be on a lot 2 acres or less, and must have at least 2 bedrooms. Okay. So my areas like Texas, I know it sounds like 2 acres isn't a lot, but it is. 2 acres is still a lot of land. We can work with 2 acres. A pro tip really is to just make sure that your applicants are approved before you tell them or show them a home, right? Before you go show them a home, please make sure they're approved so you know the rental amount they're approved for. You don't want them to get excited about a home they can't qualify for.
Makes sense. The last thing you want is to think that they're going to get it and realize they can't.
It's already a lot in this market, right, to overcome. You don't want to add that to it.
That's true.
All right. So we have this Find a Home tool I have been referencing. This is what it looks like, but I will take you to the website so you can see it in action. But I'll stop here to see if there are any other questions that I may have not answered.
So a question came from Alex. It says PUAs in California.
I don't know if I know what a PU is. That like a PID or MUD?
So Alex, if you can maybe expand on your question a little bit, we'll be able to answer it. In the meantime, why don't we go ahead and look at this property search live and see how that works.
All right, let's do it. So remember, you want to go to homepartners.com, and when you're logged in, your name will appear in the top right-hand corner. Hello, I am Roxanne, the realtor, right now.
Hi, Roxanne.
All right. So if you find yourself outside the dashboard, you'll just scroll over your name and you can get right back to the dashboard. On the left-hand side, there are icons, and you want to select education. That's kind of where you'll find those documents. There was someone that had asked about the PowerPoint. Under the Getting Started, we actually do have a full agent training guide that you can save to your computer. So we have this available more in depth, actually, better, more so than what I've showed you. So I would recommend going on and downloading that as well. Okay, and then we have our program guides. I've been telling you all about how important these are. So this is where you would find them, program guides and documents. You'll see that prospect guide, that property guide, the pre-qualification questionnaire, that income verification document. Now let me show you how easy we have made this so that your applicant will know exactly what to provide. So for our readers, they have this, we've broken it down. For our non-readers, we have a checklist.
The checklist is always the
They're
way
like,
to
I don't want to read all that. They can just go here, okay? So if they have that traditional employer or employee, they just need 2 pay stubs, right? Or if they have child support as income, we'll need the bank statements and the court document, okay? That's.
Yeah.
I don't think we could have made it any more simple. All right. And then to go off of our transparency, we do provide the program fees up front as well. Now, the application fees do vary by market, between $75 per household to $99 per household. So it does depend on where you are in your metro. And that will appear here as well in the program fee, so you'll know. And we also have a deposit. The deposit is equivalent to 2 months rent. For most areas, if there is, a real estate law against having a 2-month deposit, then it will be that 1 to 1.5. So it's between 1 to 2, depending on your market.
And that's typical for any lease property that you're going to move into.
You got it. You got it.
So Alexander actually clarified his question. He meant to say PUD, planned unit development.
Okay. Yes, we will purchase a PUD.
Awesome.
I was like, PUA, I haven't heard that one. You stumped me. All right. We do also have a self-paced training. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you take this. It'll reiterate a lot of what I've said, if not everything I've said, and then some. But it will help you become more confident with conveying this program to your prospects. It walks you through each step of the process. So please take the self-paced training. It'll give you all the information that you need and more.
Great.
And it's free, so take advantage of it.
Free is always good.
Yes. All right, so let's go to the Find a Home. You know what? Let me take you to the dashboard really quick. I just wanted to show you, again, you can't miss that invite box. That's where you'll be inviting your prospects so that they're connected to you. And you also have your prospective residents to be submitted and submitted. Prospective residents means that you have invited them. They have officially been invited by you, but you can also search or filter their status. So what if you just want to talk to those that have actually taken the time to register? So you would select register. Or what if they haven't completed their application, but you want to help them through it? Then you would just select application incomplete. So there's lots of different filters that you can search through to help find your prospects.
Awesome.
The to be submitted means that they're approved.
Yay!
Yay! So all of their information will appear here. The rental amount they're approved for, okay? Their registration day, approval date, etc. And then you would be able to select, it would say submit property if you haven't started, but if you have started the submission process, of course, it would just say continue submission.
Awesome.
And then submitted means that you've already submitted the property on their behalf. You've walked through that 3-step process, and then it will give you the status. Are we under negotiations? Have we started our inspection process? Has it closed? The status will be provided there under the submitted option. Okay. All right, now let's get to the find a home section. This is where, again, you can find all of the metros that we're operating in, all of the areas that we're purchasing in. And I mentioned earlier that if you select the metro information, let's just choose for Atlanta, metro information, you'll get a screenshot of the stats for the area, how many homes are eligible coming from MLS right now. The price cap is provided as well, and the rental range.
Awesome. So once you get into the territory or the metro that you're servicing, it all seems pretty straightforward.
You got it. And you see your full list. Your full list is available too. And you can search by city or high school.
So what does one of the properties look like? And let's say I find a property I'm interested in, what's the information I'm going to be able to obtain and present to my my possible prospects?
Good question. So then you would go into the other find a home section where you're just selecting the image, and you will see the map of those homes filtering in from MLS. And to answer your question, let's just select a home. So you'll have the address, the rental amount we would assign to it, the listing price, but this is our transparency. There goes the rental amount and the purchase price estimate up front. So they get to see it for all 5 years in most markets, except Texas, you'll see all 3 years. Okay. Now we do have a right to purchase escalation rate. It's just a fancy way of saying our increase as an investor. That is already factored in, but also any costs that we have incurred to purchase the home on behalf of your prospect. That is also provided within that amount.
Awesome. So I love the transparency, and it seems like it's very clear. It's just a matter of getting on and creating an account and starting to bring in clients onto the platform.
You got it. And so that's really how you can navigate the website.
So a question came in from Jenna. Are home shoppers allowed to do any kind of improvement in the house while they're renting it from you?
Great question. So when you're submitting the property, there's a preliminary step between 1 and 2, and that is the renovation checklist. That is going to be sent to your applicant. The renovation checklist basically says, hey, these are the repairs we are willing to make. These are repairs we are not willing to make. However, we're also going to give them the option to make some requests. So if they want paint, or they want their carpet renewed or repaired or cleaned, if they need appliances, we'll give them that option to make those requests. And upon approval, the cost that we've incurred to accommodate those requests will be added to the purchase price. So as a renter, they're not liable for those costs. If they exercise their right to purchase, then they are. So HomePartners kind of takes the risk there initially.
So I think that's like another added benefit for someone who is really strictly looking for a rental property. It's, you have the opportunity to have the cost be incurred by somebody else.
Yeah, you can, exactly. Again, we'll take that risk. Just a quick note, this is where you'll find that agents tab. You'll see the address checker and the rent estimator as well.
Awesome.
So that's the website. I didn't know if there was any other questions, and if not, then I can just review kind of the steps and.
Yeah, let's go back and give a general overview. I think at this point, we have 10 minutes left. I think it'd be nice to get a good general overview of what it looks like, what it feels like, and what people can expect now that we've dumped all this information on them.
All right. So the timeline is very simple. Again, we'll just kind of reiterate, but the very first step for you is to sign up if you haven't already. Once you've used those tools, the pre-screening questionnaire, the prospect guide, that income verification document, and you see it's a good fit, then you invite them. They will apply, and once they are approved, then you can help them find a home. Once you help them find a home, then you will submit the property on their behalf. We'll review it and provide you with the contract, right, with proof of funds. And once the seller says, okay, great, that looks awesome, we'll move to inspections. Now, please note, we do have an option period. Our option period is 10 business days. So keep that in mind. But remember, we're waiving appraisals. We have a 3-week close. So we're still really competitive in this market. Okay. And then we get to closing. Everybody loves to get to closing. Yay! Now, this does look a little different than what you're accustomed to, because typically the buyer does that final walkthrough. Well, we're not going to be there, so we need your help. Please take photos of the interior of the home, exterior of the home. You're confirming that the seller has completely vacated, and then you'll disclose the location of the keys. And we close. You receive your full sales commission either same day or next morning, depending on how you receive those funds. And the resident will move in up to 2 weeks later, as Pathlight will be communicating with them, preparing them for their move-in date. And there you go. There you have it.
There it is. There it is. I'm really impressed by the fact that that we can take now these rental leads and keep them as renters or to convert them into buyers. I mean, again, in this market with the number of rental leads and the buyer perspectives that are coming in, having this option, having this opportunity seems like it's, like you said, it's just another bullet in your chamber that you can, utilize to find, put, not only leverage the cash opportunity to put your possible buyers at the top, but really being able to convert a renter to a buyer, I think has been probably one of the biggest challenges most real estate agents, especially our members in this time, during this time have been facing. So being able to take those and convert them, I think is really a game changer for the real estate space.
I agree. It's super exciting. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you took good notes. This is definitely a great tool in your tool belt, another option. We want to be the full service agent, right? You want to provide the best options for your prospect. Here's another tool to help you do that.
Awesome. Well, Taisha, thank you so much for this. Great. So if somebody were to, I know that obviously we've got the website, we've got homepartners.com, but if people wanted to reach out to you and had questions, there's your email. Perfect.
I'm ahead of the game.
Love it.
Yes, here's my contact information, email, and phone number. Now, if you can't get a hold of me over the phone, that's because I'm training. I do train back to back. So just leave me a text message or send me an email. I promise I'll get back to you.
Sounds good. Great.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing about the success we're going to bring with one another.
Yes, I look forward to it as well. Let's rock it. We still have time in 2021. Let's do this.
Definitely do. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to hearing about your success with converting renters into full commission. Take care.